9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Maybe we can start. Not sure how long this is going to take, but we are ready to go. And sound's working. So there we are. Good morning, friends. Thanks for dropping by, for saying hi, for being here with me this morning. It is 4 minutes past 5 in the morning, and we're about to get started with the morning routine. For those of you who are watching, my name is Toby. I am 41 years old, and I train to live an active, self-sufficient, and adventurous life. I do so by minding my sleep. I try to get between 7 and 9 hours in a night. Last night, apparently, overall, I slept 8 hours, made it to 7.5 hours of actual sleep, according to my phone. That's a big thumbs up for me. I think that is exactly the sweet spot that I would like to be hitting regularly. I mind what I eat. I try to eat within my energy balance, which is around 2,200 calories. I try to eat a variety of foods, lots of greens and vegetables, because of the fibers and nutrients that are in those, because they are relatively filling and apparently good and healthy. And I try to meet my protein needs for my strength and muscle building goals. So it means that on non-training days like today, where I'm not lifting weights, I'm moving but I'm not lifting weights, I try to get between 60 and 80 grams of protein in. And on the days that I actually am training with weights, doing kettlebell, I try to get between 80 and 100 grams of protein in. So, if I hit 80 every day, 80 grams, I think I'm doing quite all right. But let's see what results that amount of protein brings, not only in the short term in terms of muscle lean mass, but also in the long term in terms of health outcomes. I think that's the focus of what we're trying to accomplish here. I try to spend time with people I love and care about, because I think that connection and community is an important part of creating a purpose and a sense of utility in life. And I try to do things that I enjoy. I try to learn new things, do new things, in order to keep myself busy and active and focused. 1 second. I'm sorry about that. So I do suffer from hay fever, and because of that, it is sometimes necessary to sneeze really loud. It is what it is. It happens, and it keeps happening at 10 minutes past 5 in the morning while I'm on stream. This is about the way I feel, not about the way I look. I would like to feel fit, capable, and competent for living. I would like to be able to go out and live an active, self-sufficient, and adventurous life, not only now in my 40s, but also in my 50s, my 60s, and my 70s. And I'll talk a bit more about why I think that's important as we're working out. The most important thing, friends, is the only way to get anything done is by showing up and doing the work, which is why we're going to get started. Allergies are absolutely the worst. They leave you with a runny nose, short of breath, feeling somewhat terrible. Yet, there's not a lot you can do about it. except just keep going on with life and living. So, what are my two big goals with all of this? Because I show up every day, do a workout, try to be active throughout the day. And there must be a reason for why I am trying to drive this. Because if we don't have a strong why, strong reason, strong belief, underpinning the things we do, then why would we be doing them? Well, I do believe that my body is capable of regenerating, staying strong and healthy, not only now, but for the next 30 or 40 years, and that the things that I choose to do are going to determine whether or not I get to stay healthy and fit for another 20 or 30 years. And I think it's important for us to realize that we have some agency and some say in the matter in terms of staying fit, staying healthy for life and for living. All right? So, if I don't show up and do the work today and tomorrow, and all of these 30 minutes combined, by the time I'm 60, my health and fitness is probably going to have deteriorated. Sure, in between, I might have moments and bouts of exercise because a doctor might at some point tell me that I need to, or I might start to feel somewhat sluggish. But in general, the net outcome of life is that deterioration is inevitable. And every day after our 30s, we lose a little bit of our capacity simply by virtue of our biological system. Well, the good news is that by staying active and engaged, we can slow that process, and in some cases maybe even reverse it. But we do need to be mindful of the fact that in order to do that, we need to show up and do some things in the course of our day. So my goal, one of my two big goals, is to stay fit, to stay healthy, and to stay active, not only now, but also in the future. And specifically, hitting 70 and 80 years old with as much capacity and capability as I can muster through a healthy and active lifestyle. And that healthy and active lifestyle includes showing up for 30 minutes every day and doing some physical work. And right now, we're doing all that physical work at 5 in the morning, because between 5 and 7 is the time that I am sure that my children are sleeping. Other times a day, it's all a bit harder to do. All right. So that's one primary goal. The second reason is the here and now. Yeah. So I have 2 kids. I want to be actively involved in their lives. Not only now, as they are young, but also as they grow older. And being an active part of their life also means working on my health and fitness and ability to be an active part of their lives. Because as children, play. They want to do sports. Oh, hey there. I see your comment. I'll come over and read it in a moment. They want to do sports. They want to do all kinds of things. And it's important to be able to participate and do those things with them. Right now, but also to show them what an active and healthy adult looks like, what they sleep like, what they eat like, how they work out, how they live, the things they do and don't do, that we need to prepare them for a world that has been filled up with so many distractions, so much garbage. In terms of entertainment, food and drink, and exercise. That we'd need to help them navigate that properly. Dixie Cuddles, how's it going? You work out in, yeah, you'll be there for them. Exactly. Dixie Cuddles, good to see you. Thanks for dropping by, saying hi. I hope you're doing well. I hope life is treating you well, wherever you are in the world. And I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. And it's another day, another Tuesday at Paradise. Getting the morning routine, mobility in. I'm going to make my coffee, record the podcast, and go out for a short walk. I always try to do a 30-minute walk, and that 30-minute walk always turns into 45 or 60 minutes because it just feels so nice to be out. It feels so good to be out. I need to get better at improve my general time management in terms of my walks in the morning, or I just need to make a point on being out the door at 6 a.m. Either or would probably work. So hey, that's how I'm doing. But everything seems to be going just fine at the moment. Staying fit, staying healthy, and making sure all the things that need to get done are getting done. So those are my two big reasons for wanting to stay fit and healthy today and for the future, and why I show up every day for 30 minutes to work. But do you think those 30 minutes are all that I invest in my health and fitness? Because there's also the food, right, that I eat 3 meals a day. What am I eating? How am I accounting for that, how am I dealing with the candy jars at work? What am I doing to ensure that we are actually staying on track in terms of food and nutrition? Every day, in terms of my health and fitness goals. So there's another important one to consider as well, that it's not just about doing a workout, but it's also about what we eat on a daily basis. And then it's also about whether I am able to mix in some activity throughout the day. So an extra walk here and there, a walk around the block, a walk up and down the stairs, maybe just popping into the gym at the office once or twice, even if it's just for 5 minutes. Do a couple of pull-ups, do a couple of squats, or sit on a stationary bike or an elliptical trainer for a few minutes, just to get that extra bit of movement in throughout the day. Preferably every hour or so, to do something at least. Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, time management is definitely a thing, right? Especially when you have small children and you're trying to make life fun, do well at work, and trying to maintain your health and fitness. That is a definite challenge in terms of time and energy that we need to come to terms with. It's not impossible, but it definitely requires some skill in that department. Good morning. Thanks for dropping by, saying hi. Hope you're doing well where you're at in the world. I hope life is treating you well this morning or this evening. But I think, going back to your point, Dixie Cuddles, it's like the idea that health and fitness needs to be this big thing and this big part of our lives, whereas most of the things that impact our health and fitness are part of the routines we already have, from our sleep routine, because everyone sleeps, whether they're mindful of it or not, to our eating habits, right? The types of food we eat, how often we eat, to our movement habits, as in, How well are we moving throughout the day? Not even exercise or training, just simply the activity level in our lives. I think if you tackled those three and you have a nice close-knit group of friends, it could be one or two, could be 5 or 6, doesn't really matter, but as long as you have that, you can probably stay relatively fit, relatively healthy, with relative ease. I think it's especially the food that is difficult to master. And 11:30 for you, just came back. I see you're doing good in those runs and that training. As in a quick 2-mile run, took you 2 minutes. So 2 miles is, I'd say, 3.5 kilometers, probably. So that's like slightly under half an hour. Am I right? Is that where we're at? That's impressive. Just going out and doing a run, already winning it, being fit and doing it. Yeah, that was so nice. About 70 minutes. You go, man. Or woman, I don't know. But you go. That's good. And right after work. That's nice, yeah. So for me, right after work, Dixie Cuddles, I have the commute. So it never really works out for me also in terms of streaming and being present. So that's why I stick with first thing in the morning. And that's now become such a habit, I'm afraid I might not ever be able to kick it. But I always tell people, work out when it suits your schedule. I have a feeling as the kids get older, they will start to have after-school activities, which will make it easier for me to shift some of my workout to a later time in the week and the day, maybe, or do something for those 30 minutes at the end of the day. But there's also going to be a lot of time spent on I guess homework, who knows what else, what other challenges school might bring with us. All right. Up, down. There we go. Now, let's get back early. Yeah, when the weather is good, it's good to be out, isn't it? Ooh, okay. So these are the mobility exercises with which we're trying to fix my shoulders. And, well, it's proving to be a lot of fun and quite challenging in and of itself already. I don't know if you've ever worked with a ball like this. But it is relatively hard. A whole new skill set evolves. As you can see, I'm also not talking as much as I was before for that reason specifically. Let's take a 30-second break and then do that again. And I feel that all across my back. Coffee is a lifesaver. Yeah, I got my coffee all right. Yeah, no, I'm an early riser naturally, and so that's why this time does suit me and agree with me. I think it's one of the things that life has taught me about myself. And I think the only thing is that I notice after 8 p.m. it is definitely my bedtime. I hope that can shift somewhat over time. But I'll try and get those gotta try and get those hours of sleeping every day. All right, regular old plank, moving into a little bit of core stability. And then we're going to wrap this up because it is time for that morning coffee. Those exercises on the ball are always a bit more intense than you expect. But good for you, nonetheless. Let's take a 30-second break. Final exercises. Succeeding over and over. Definitely. But I should be fine. Oh, wow. So that's extra weight on the pull-up. Impressive. A great goal to have, I think. Setting goals, pursuing them, gives us a sense of focus and what to chase after. For me, the only goal is to show up for these 30 minutes and do some work. That's it. If I can do that, it doesn't matter to me if it's heavy or light work, but it's a good start of the day. But I love setting goals and weight targets and pursuing them over time because you learn something from the journey there, right? You learn something about yourself, about what you're capable of. Let us know how it goes when you reach them and what happens. We've got one more exercise for the core, and then we're good for today. And Dixie Cuddles, duh. I really appreciate you dropping by and spending the time with me this morning. There we go. Let's take a minute to reflect. And like I said, it's been such fun talking with you both this morning. I really appreciate that. Made my workout so much more fun. Thank you for dropping by, for saying hi, spending the time with me. For anyone else who's watching, thanks for dropping by, saying hi, hitting like, checking out my channel, maybe subscribing. Remember, I always say, this is about the way I feel, not about the way I look. We're good just the way we are. We've got to love ourselves before we can move on. It's the person we are today who's going to get us to where we want to be tomorrow. So a bit of kindness is going to go a long way, all right? And the only way to get anything done is by showing up and doing the work. So thanks for dropping by, for saying hi. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for another workout, friends. And remember, subscribe.